Alright, let's start. Today I will try to do this a little bit differently. I will try to code some examples on the spot, since I think it's a bit more efficient time-wise for me as well. But it will be instead of a workshop part, so like second part of the lesson will be coding examples of the topic. And the topic of today is clean code, code smells, part 1. And in this part we will talk about 3 categories of code smells. In total there are 22 code smells, and today I'll talk about first 3 categories and around half of those smells. So the categories are bloaters, object orientation abusers, and change preventers. So let's get right to it, and first let's try to understand what is a code smell. So there are many cases when we have a feeling that there's something wrong with our code. We can point at it and say that it's not nice, that something is missing, or there's too much of something, but sometimes we're simply lacking words to name what's wrong. Our code works, it does what it should. It's not bad, but it could be better. It's not clean. And for such things, there are well-defined indicators. Indicators that something is not quite right with the code. It might be okay, but there might be an indicator that says otherwise. The indicator might fail, it might be a false alarm, but in most cases, it refers to a problem. A small problem, a problem of maintainability, which is caused by code which is not following best practices and principles. And those indicators are nothing else than a code smell. Code smells are something that shows that something wrong is with code and that we should do something about it. But just like a symptom for a disease, for let's say a flu, if we cough, that doesn't mean that we have a flu. It might indicate it though. So we need further analysis to get the right treatment for the code smell. So there are 5 categories of smells and a total of 22 code smells. And if you want a reference based on which I made this lesson, you could check refactoring.guru, which is an awesome site where all those smells are defined and techniques, how to extract them, are explained. Bloaters, that's the first category. And basically it means that code is expanding, that code is changing, and during the process it becomes less and less and less maintainable. It grows with features, with class size, and so on and so forth, until we need to do something about it. So first, of course, is long method. It's a really common smell when a method has too many lines of code. And an indicator of when it's really too much is when you look at a method and it's so complex to read that you're better off adding new code than changing the old one. So such method is a smell. Another indicator for long method is when you mix levels of abstraction. It's single responsibility violation for a function level. Of course, when it's too much written in a method, it means that it does more than one thing. Doing one thing means that you cannot extract the function anymore. So one level of abstraction. As high a level call as possible for that little thing that the function needs to do. So a treatment for such smell is very simple. We simply split the method into parts, into private parts that we can use in that method. And instead of a comment, we will write a named method. And that should make things much more clear. Second smell, which is very similar to the previous one, is long parameter list. And that basically means when we have 3 or more parameters. 3 or more parameters means that by the time we wrote third parameter, we probably already forgot or it's hard to just look at the definition of a method and understand what needs to be accepted. It might not be the case, of course, but there's a cleaner way. When we keep passing those 3 parameters, when we find ourselves passing multiple parameters, we maybe should look for a way how to reduce it. And we can reduce it by grouping parameters, meaning that instead of 3 parameters, we lump them in an object. So we pass the whole object where we hold those encapsulated 3 parameters or more. Maybe we split it in 2 objects, maybe we split it into a primitive and an object. That doesn't really matter, but grouping, encapsulating, and passing objects instead of primitives is a really nice way of how this smell can be avoided. Hello Gamiolero, hello Mobimon. Oh, come on, really? Let me think. Repeatable beep. Oh, I hear it. It's a wire, sorry. Let me fix it. Let me fix it. Let me fix it. Oh, and I echo now. Is it any better? God damn it. No, it's not. I wonder why. Give me a moment, I'll try to restart stream.